Hey, Scott here from Venger's Decks. This is my video version of my cool little Venger's Guide to Random Encounters, where I'll show you how you can blend encounters into your game and pack them with excitement every time. Let's get started. Well, thanks, first of all, so much for picking up this little guide. Before we begin, a little about me, if you will. So I've been role-playing as player or dungeon or game master since the 1980s, carving out an endless myriad of intricately woven tales in dark, musty corners of the school playground or friends' attics before moving up to dinner tables and screens. My first steps into the multiverse were choose your own adventure books, fighting fantasy books, blood sword books, the D&D basic set, which was the red box back in the day, and then advanced D&D second edition. But I've also whiled away countless hours with the likes of Star Trek, the role-playing game, Warhammer 40k, Call of Cthulhu, Middle-earth role-playing game, Hero Quests, Star Wars, the role-playing game, amongst many others. Beyond that, I helped playtest the first outstanding edition of Slay Industries, released by Nightfall Games in Glasgow. And I'm always looking to bore the pants off anyone idiotic enough to listen to me about just how groundbreaking that game was. Check out the second edition. I now play, in the main, D&D 5e as a dungeon master, running homebrew games every week in Glasgow, Scotland. And yeah, also try to run Venger's Decks whenever I get the chance. But this guide ain't about me. I don't know why it is you've picked it up. Maybe you're looking for inspiration, a few words to help you inject more juice into your game sessions. Maybe you're lacking confidence that the hex crawls, dungeon delves, or encounters you're laying out for your players are catching fire like you hoped. Or maybe you're thinking of running a game for the first time and need a point in the right direction. Or maybe you're a seasoned master searching for refinement. Whatever the reason, you're here now and I can't thank you enough for that. So let's have some fun and talk about what you'll get from this book. First up, here's what this guide definitely isn't. After you've gone through this guide, you're not going to be the greatest dungeon or games master on the planet, if there even is such a thing. You're not going to know everything about this game that you're running. If your players look at you yearning for drama and conflict and unparalleled storytelling to fire out of your mouth, in the moment, despite reading this, you might continue to look back at them as would a dog who's just been shown a card trick with no clue whatsoever where to take the session next. More crucially though, this guide holds nowhere near a monopoly of wisdom on designing and running random encounters. I may have role-played for years and yonks, but I'd be the very first to say that I'm still learning, that I'm still seeing ideas and approaches and tips absolutely everywhere and thinking, right, I'm stealing that. No matter how weighted in gravitas the experts who've been following up to this point may seem, no matter how much more than you appears they know, the beauty of this game that you're running is that you're running it. You might not get the importance of this yet, but as time goes on, you'll come to understand that whilst it's always a great idea to learn off others, to try your best to improve, no matter the extent of your mastery of rules, no matter how talented at improvisation you may be, no matter your level of confidence, and certainly no matter your wish for your game to be as good as someone else's, your table is your table, and that's the end of it. Once everyone sits down at your table, whether it's online or offline, the multiverse exists now only in that space. Forget all else. It bears no relevance to rulebooks, guides, influencers, critics, or anyone or anything outside that space. Instead, within that space, you and your players are in charge. It's up to you and your players alone to work collectively in spinning together the twists and twirls of the story each of you wants to tell, in whatever style and flow and level of seriousness you're all happy with. It's just a game, right? So take this guide, yeah, but it's only the beginning of the story. Take whatever you like from it and move the hell on. Blend it together with all the other mountains of resources out there you'll pick your way through. And in the end, find your own way, your own path to enjoyment in the game. So in this guide, hopefully you'll find some inspirational words to add spice to the encounters you lay out for your players, random or otherwise. You'll find a tried and tested approach that I've ironed out for decades, an approach which breaks down every single encounter into easy to follow steps. Steps you can either flesh out on the fly at the table or plan out more carefully ahead of schedule. If you've picked up any of Venger's random encounter decks, in this guide you'll find some meat to put in their bones, some tips to make the most of them in your game. And finally, at the end of the guide, you'll gain access to the bare-bones cheat sheets I've fleshed out for years to build encounters. One thing I want to make clear before you move on, though, is that this little guide, well, it ain't so little. Before you get to the step-by-step stuff later on, the guide's first going to lead you by the hand through a deep dive into the theory behind random encounters, behind the embracement of chaos in your game. The reason I've done this is to encourage a richer understanding that'll make it way more easy for you to actually make something out of the techniques I lay out. If that ain't your bag, therefore, and you want to zip right in, go hog wild and skip what you feel isn't necessary. So thanks once again for spending some time with this guide. I hope it helps whatever aims you have in your game sessions to come. Don't sweat all this stuff. Enjoy the game, communicate with your players as best you can, and I wish you every success in finding or refining your own style.